Hello and welcome to my channel, The Way What Is Truth. Remember to like and to subscribe and to comment down below if you feel like doing so. Now, I just want to do a short video today about body image and this world's obsession with being slim. Now, according to the media, slimness equals happiness, but I'm here to tell you that is simply not the case, right? It's not. In fact, in the past, when I've had a flat stomach, because believe it or not, I did have a flat stomach when I was a teenager and in my very early 20s when I was going jogging and going to the gym. You know, I've got one of those body types where if I have a 38 waist, which is big to most men, but I'm 6 foot, big boned, you know, I have a higher muscle density compared to most men, right? I am heavy set and I'm a big guy. When I had a 38 waist, I looked like the way most other men would look if they had a 34 waist, if that makes sense, because of my big frame, right? So yeah, back then I had a much smaller waist, obviously, when I was a teenager and in my very early 20s. And from the age of 23 to my early 30s, I was like morbidly obese, like I think I was 21 stone throughout my mid to late 20s. I was too big, right? I'm against the fat acceptance movements and all those rather disgusting videos that depict people stuffing their faces and getting fatter and fatter and fatter just for the sake of it. That is insane. That's madness. But I want to encourage a get real approach about all of this when I say that, especially types like me, I can only speak from my own life experience, but I've always had a slow metabolic rate even when I was young, right? I'm 38 now, going on 39. Before I know where I am, I'll be in my 40s. And my metabolism is slowly but surely getting slower and slower. I think it's every 10 years or so our metabolic rate goes down, and that applies to all of us, right? And it's not the end of the world having a podge. It's not the end of the world having a 43 or 44-inch waist when you're a 6 foot big bone guy like me, which is what I have. My waistline is between a 43 and a 44. Okay. This world is obsessed with slimness. Everyone's got to be slim. Everyone's got to have a six-pack. Because like I said earlier on in the video, slimness is equated with happiness. But I'm telling you, that is a lie. Because when I had a flat stomach years ago, like I was talking about earlier on, I didn't feel happier. If anything, I remember when I got obese, I had a little bit of padding around my middle area. In fact, most of my weight has traditionally gone to my legs, my thighs. But because I remember when I was obese in my 20s, then I lost a whole load of weight. I went down to feel myself down here, as you do sometimes, and I couldn't feel anything. It didn't feel right. I actually felt more contented when I had like a moderate-sized podge down there, if that makes sense. That might sound weird to you, because in the media, it's always slim people who are depicted as being happier and fitter and healthier and like smiles all around. It's actually the opposite. From my experience, if you're slightly to moderately overweight but don't smoke or drink, you're in good health, you have enough exercise, and you have a good diet, a decent diet, chances are you'll be a bit more contented than those who are slim. That's certainly been the case with me. Like I said earlier, I can only speak from my own life experience, but being slightly to moderately overweight, even on the lower end of obese, I've always felt happier in that weight range than having like a 38 waist or a 36 waist like I used to have years ago. I mean, I know for a fact that I'm never going to have a 38 waist ever again. That might sound a bit bizarre because a 38 waist is considered to be quite large. Even for a 6 foot man, it's actually classified as overweight according to the BMI index, having a 38 waist, a 38-inch waist, that is, by the way. But yeah, now I've got a 43-inch waist, and I just know, no way am I going to get to a 40-inch waist again, or like under that. No way. And it's partly because of my slow metabolic rate. I've got a good appetite. I'm quite active. I do exercise, but no matter how much I exercise, this middle part here, unless I lived in the gym, I would literally have to have, well, almost the same exercise regime as a boxer. And that's the truth. I'd have to be burning that level of calories in order to get down to like a 38 waist, then eventually a 36. But it's not worth the effort. Well, what matters more, trust me, as you become middle-aged with a slow metabolic rate like myself, I have become over the years more and more at peace with my body. I've cared less and less and less what other people think to me. I just don't care. In fact, I never really did care. I don't understand the mentality of those who do. I mean, we are who we are. Our souls, our hearts, our minds, our thoughts, feelings and emotions, who we are. We are who we are. I don't understand the mentality of people who care about us being slightly to moderately overweight or obese, people that point the finger and make fun of people. I just don't get it. Okay, God doesn't want us to be morbidly obese and to be like barrels walking around like that. You know, not being able to walk properly, not being able to find clothes that fit us and all that stuff. But when it comes to like anywhere from slightly overweight to like the lower end of obese, that's the kind of category that I'm in. I just don't get it. It's crazy. This world is obsessed with slimness. I'm not. I never have been. Health, fitness, yeah. I just want to mention a superfood. Aubergines. Aubergines have virtually everything we need. Look them up. It's a great food to have. It's full of vitamin B, C, D and E, I believe, as well. All sorts of vitamins and minerals are in aubergines, and also beetroot juice, which I recommend that anyone dilutes. Just put a quarter of it into a glass and have a glass of it every 2 to 3 days and dilute it with water, perhaps put a bit of lime and lemon juice in it, and it perks you right up and it detoxes your body. It gets rid of all the toxins and all of the bad stuff that's inside of your body. So yeah, aubergines and beetroot juice, two of the best foods I can think of. Obviously fruit, vegetables, but I'm not going to insult anybody's intelligence because most people know how to eat healthily, and I do as well, but I'm just talking from the perspective of a big built guy with a slow metabolism. I'm at peace with my body and I don't understand. It's just baffling to me why other people aren't. I mean, so many men and women, for example, are in relationships where they feel pressured to be slim by their partners. I don't get that either. I've always associated middle age and grey hairs, getting grey hairs slowly but surely as time goes on. I haven't got any, by the way, and I'm 38, so I don't know what's happening to me. Maybe I'm a miracle of medical science or something. I've got no grey hairs. But yeah, people need to get real. We are who we are. People are obsessed with body image and being slim, and I'm telling you, I think the way God sees it is this: He wants us to be healthy. He doesn't want us to be morbidly obese to the point where we feel uncomfortable. We can't get in our cars comfortably. We can't walk comfortably without our legs chafing, for example. He doesn't want that level of obesity, but our bodies were designed in such a way as to be able to carry a certain amount of extra weight, if that makes sense to you. And these doctors won't tell you that. You go to the doctor, somebody like me goes to the doctor today and will just say, you're obese. I know for a fact they would tell me that I'm obese. Maybe not morbidly obese, but on the lower end of the obese category for sure. They definitely would. And they would probably say, oh, you should have no more than a 38 waist, you know, you're 6 foot, this, that and the other. And I'll just stare at them and think, look, I don't care what your qualifications are. I don't care how many years you've studied, right? I feel at my most comfortable and healthiest, and this is my happy place. 42, 43-inch waist. I wouldn't like to get up to a 44 or a 45-inch waist. That's too big. It's just too uncomfortable. But for me, personally, 43, 44-inch waist at the very most, and that's fine. And I've got a podge. which is probably going to get bigger over time, slowly as the years go by. Like in another 5 years and in 10 years' time, I might have gained an inch or two around my waist, but that's nature. As far as I'm concerned, people do get fatter as they get older. It's just a fact of life. Now, the internet is full of videos which say that middle-age spread is a myth. It's not a myth, it's science fact, right? There's a reason why the phrase middle-age spread exists in the first place. Is because as we get older, our metabolism slow down. And we just have to accept it. Some people have got high metabolic rates, so no matter how old they are, they always seem to be slim. Some people have low appetites, fair enough. You've got to live and let live, but other people don't. Right, I've got a healthy appetite, a slow metabolism. My body type is basically geared up to put weight on, especially from the age of 35 onwards. And yes, I do exercise on a regular basis. I go for long walks. I love my beetroot juice, as expensive as it is, and aubergines and fish and vegetables and fruits. In fact, I have blueberries most mornings. Soya milk, I have. I do have some junk food from time to time. I treat myself, but don't we all? I mean, most people do. So if you're hungry, eat. Don't starve yourself. Diets don't really work. There's a reason why people go on these so-called yo-yo diets. They don't work because diets starve the body. They put the body into starvation mode, and chances are you'll end up eating more calories than you did at the start of the diet. So just eat sensibly, treat yourself from time to time, and let's all chill out, because this world is obsessed with slimness, six-packs, going to the gym every day. I'm not going to go to the gym every day. I did that years ago. Yeah, when I was in my 20s, and in my late teens, I went through a phase where I became a gym rat. I don't know whether you ever heard of that phrase before, but yeah, I was a gym rat for a number of years, and I'm not missing anything. I'm happier as I am now. You know what I mean? I'm happier as I am now. It's all about being at peace with ourselves. At the end of the day, we need to be at peace with who we are, our self-worth and our confidence, and whatever happiness we have in this life needs to come from in here. Happiness is a state of mind. It shouldn't be dependent on how much we weigh or how big our waistlines are or whatever. But like I said earlier on, when I had a 36 to 38 waist, I didn't feel as contented back then, for whatever reason, than I do now. I feel a lot more contented and happier being the size I am now than I was when I had under a 40-inch waist. That might sound bizarre to some people, because a lot of people think slim, fit, happy, right? I'm telling you, we are complicated creatures, and it doesn't work like that. We need to be at peace with our bodies. If we're constantly fighting against the weight that our bodies want us to be, then we'll never be happy and contented, right? And yeah, God doesn't want people to be waddling around. He doesn't want people to be like barrels. He doesn't want people to have diabetes, to be unhealthy. He wants us all to live clean lives and to be healthy and to exercise and to get out there and get into nature. But being slim is not the be-all and end-all. So if you are categorised as slightly to moderately overweight, or even on the lower end of the obese category, don't fret. What matters more is not drinking, not smoking, not having too much sugar, although our bodies do need a fair bit of sugar, by the way. Certainly, most people have too much salt. We're not drinking enough fluids. Cardiovascular health is very, very important. So let's try and get our steps in, walk. My new favourite exercise is actually skipping rope jumping. I like to hold a couple of dumbbells and jump up and down for like 30 to 40 minutes at a time with small breaks in between. And that's a nice little cardiovascular workout. It's good for your shoulders, your arms, your chest when you're holding those dumbbells like that. And yeah, I'm a guy who is classified as obese. I know for a fact I am, although I carry it very, very well. I really do. But yeah. You may be a lady watching this with a bit of a paunch. Perhaps you're obese even. Don't care about what anybody else thinks. It's what's in our hearts and minds that matter at the end of the day. It's who we are that matters underneath this body of flesh and blood. So yeah, I think I better end the video now. I don't want to repeat myself. Leave a comment down below, and I'm pretty sure that some people will agree with me that we are living in a slim obsessed culture which says that slimness is the recipe for happiness, whilst it really isn't. And on the other hand, we have this crazy fat acceptance movement and videos of people on YouTube shoving food down their faces and getting fatter and fatter. That's wrong as well. So we need to find a happy middle ground, which is what I've done. Bye bye and take care.